Xi Jinping has been doing some heavy purging, and it will continue until morale improves. Which is to say, probably never as long as the CCP is in power. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. It's that time of year again, when we end up funneling money into China's military by buying made-in-China junk as Christmas presents. This year, don't. I'm putting together the first ever unmade-in-China Christmas shopping catalog. It'll be full of products made in the USA and other friendly countries that are also standing up to the CCP. This catalog is for you and everyone you know, so you can use the magic of consumerism for good this Christmas. To fund this shopping catalog, I need your help. Join Operation Take Back Christmas on my Give Send Go page. Become a revolutionary retail shopper, an anti-big tech patriot, or a soldier in the American Liberation Army to get exclusive benefits. And most importantly, you'll be part of the work we do at China Uncensored to stand up to the CCP. So click below. And now on with today's episode. Xi Jinping is in deep trouble. He's losing popularity with the Chinese Communist Party elites thanks to his many power grabs and quote-unquote anti-corruption campaigns that has nabbed up more than 5 million officials. And he's losing popularity with the Chinese people, thanks in part to Xi's many, many short-sighted policies. How many? I've literally made a career off cataloging them. Under Xi's watch, Chinese people have suffered during zero COVID, which made zero sense, and that was immediately followed by mass deaths when zero COVID was ended without anything remotely resembling a plan. And a broken economy when the housing pyramid scheme imploded, which in turn has made the job market a living hell. People are fed up. But too bad, because China is now even cracking down on being sad online. Because in communist China, everybody's happy. Nothing to be sad about here. Turns out Weird Al's album Mandatory Fun wasn't a parody, it was a prediction. Of course, just banning sadness alone isn't going to automatically make things better. Xi Jinping needs to inspire people, get them believing in the Chinese dream again. And he needs party elites to believe he isn't just Mao 2.0. And he may have found a way to do both. Earlier this month, Xi spoke at the Hall of the People commemorating the 110th birthday of Hu Yaobang. And just look at these festivities, woo! No one knows how to celebrate a birthday like communists. Now, I was shocked by this. Hu Yaobang is an incredibly controversial and significant Chinese official. You know those mass student protests in Tiananmen Square in 1989 that eventually ended in nothing happening? They got started because people were mourning the death of Hu Yaobang because he was beloved by the Chinese people, just like Xi would like to be. But Hu was not so beloved by other party officials. You see, after the chaos of Mao's collectivized farming and cultural revolution, Deng Xiaoping seized power and began to make economic reforms in the 80s. And Hu Yaobang was one of his right-hand men. But Hu didn't just want economic reforms, he wanted political reforms as well. Hu launched an anti-corruption campaign, can you believe it? And that targeted even the children of top-ranking party elders and restored the reputations of tens of millions of people who were victims of Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution, including Xi Jinping's father, Xi Zhongxun. Hu also promoted freedom of speech and the press. That's why he was really popular with the people, and also why the party encouraged his retirement. Bringing up Hu's legacy is dangerous for the CCP, especially since it touches so closely on things that didn't happen. And yet the CCP has been commemorating Hu's birth every 10 years since his 90th birthday in 2005. Xi himself did it back in 2015. But something's different this time, and it could make or break Xi's career. Back in 2015, Xi emphasized remembering Hu's revolutionary spirit and noble demeanor, and learning from Hu's character. But this year, Xi's got something else in mind, co-opting Hu's popularity to further his own agenda. She talked about Hu's firm belief, idealism, and high morals, while also urging all party members to follow Hu's example in remaining unwaveringly loyal to the party. So, Hu fought corruption just like Xi Jinping is now, and you all better like it and remain loyal. This suggests to me that in the coming months, we will be seeing a lot more purges going on in the Chinese Communist Party, following several recent high-level purges in the military. But that's not all. Xi also put emphasis on actively engaging in the drive for Chinese modernization and striving hard to achieve grand ideals and shared aspirations. And that's where things get really interesting, because Xi has put himself forward as a modernizer who is leading China into a new grand era of socialism with Chinese characteristics. But he has also said that this journey towards a spectacular future won't be easy, and that the Chinese people must be ready to eat bitterness in their quest for a stronger future. And now, in his tribute to Hu, he went further, saying that Chinese people must be able to chew tough bones. The moral? Things won't get any easier moving forward, but stick with me the way Hu Yaobang would have stuck with me, and I'll lead you into greatness. It's convenient that Hu Yaobang can't come forward to disagree with Xi, given that, he's dead. And Hu's family was sidelined a long time ago, so there's not a whole lot they can do either. Notably, Hu's eldest son, Hu Yaobang, attended the commemoration, but he was way in the back, even though the whole thing was about his father. In the end, the memorial for Hu is really about getting everybody to back Xi Jinping and his ideas of Sinicization of Marxism, socialist modernization, and comprehensively deepening reform. Xi is using Hu the same way he has used Deng Xiaoping, to paint himself as a reformer who will continue on his predecessor's reforms. Yeah, Xi's got it in the bag. Millions of body-shaped bags. Chinese state-run media has been calling Xi a reformer for years. Xi is doing the exact opposite of liberalizing, yet hyping up reform is just one of the many ways Xi and his pro-CCP shills try to promote hope. But Xi Jinping is not Hu Yaobang, and as I mentioned earlier, Chinese people aren't exactly in the hopeful mood. It's hard to be optimistic when reality keeps drop-kicking you in the face. If you look through Chinese social media, you'll find the protests over economic woes and social grievances seem to be a daily occurrence. According to the China Dissident Monitor, they've been on the rise since 2022. Many people in China know that what the CCP says doesn't really match reality, the cruel, face-drop-kicking reality. As one Beijing-based writer said in a New York Times opinion piece, Chinese people are describing their own country as Waiqiang Zhonggan, which roughly translates as outwardly strong, inwardly brittle. So, the opposite of things made in China, which are outwardly brittle and inwardly also brittle. Sure, China keeps dumping tons of money into investment plans and influence operations in countries all over the world. But many now feel that the very state policies that have made China appear strong overseas are hurting them. They see a government more concerned with building global influence and dominating export markets than in addressing the challenges of their households. It's like if your house was on fire and your first thought was, quick, we need to get the neighbors to follow us on Instagram. It also doesn't help that China keeps encouraging wasteful spending to overproduce whatever's trending, including industrial robots, and putting more resources into things that just look good, as opposed to being good, like I said, brittle. China could fix its economy and other societal woes if it implemented policies that actually work, but that would involve giving away too much power, and power isn't something the CCP is willing to forego, because if they're not in charge, who would be? No, not Hu, he's dead, remember? It's only a matter of time until something gets people to snap. People need to see that actual reform isn't possible as long as the CCP is in power. If you need proof, I've literally made a career off cataloging it. And remember, the best way you can fight the CCP in your life is to stop buying products made in China. So join us at Operation Take Back Christmas. Click below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.